Yeah. If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Look at Law with the fresh background. Just look at that.
This is thanks to Dave, and then also in part Steady for helping me out. But I am super hyped for Tuesday. Yeah, this is the guy right here.
There you go. Backseat chiropractors. Oh yeah, we love you, Dave.
Oh man.
Anyway, we are back. It's Tuesday.
Yes.
It is time.
Tuesday, and we have a review episode and then an episode tomorrow, to watch. So it's like really great. You get the review from us tonight, and then you get to watch episode two tomorher. I say
that fits perfect.
This fits perfect.
It's like a plan is coming together.
Yep.
We didn't contact Marvel and ask him for that. No, we didn't. Anyway,
who said that?
Anyway, we have some awesome guests in the background, but before we bring out our awesome guests, let's get some announcements. So again, first of all, we love to give shout outs to everyone who we've had on the show, all the podcasts and all that out there. Shout out to everybody. If you like to check out some of the podcasts and the creators that we know and have had on the show, check out the Nerds Network, of various different Twitch streams, podcasts, and all that. It's right there in the description. Check that out after the show to follow these podcasters and everybody. Also, follow us, subscribe to the channel. You get new creator series. We just dropped the creator series featuring Mike Lopez from Incredit Chat, also the showrunner for Increditicon. He's had some amazing guests on his show. We did an amazing interview with him. You can see it on our YouTube if you subscribe, and you can also listen to us on Spotify. So make sure you guys are doing that. Please, every like and support and subscribe. Please, guys, we love you guys. Hearts to everyone who also supports us. Thank you. Next on the bucket list, the Beyond cast, Medusa's Cascade podcast, Collateral Damage. Yes, say that 5 times fast. I couldn't even say it once. It is a D&D podcast.
Just fine.
No. We're going for the Micro Machines record. I could do Microman. Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
So the Medusa's Cascade podcast launches every Saturday on Spotify. Make sure you guys are checking it out. If you can't find our Spotify, you can go to mbeyond.com to actually get the newest episodes there. New episodes drop every Saturday. It is featuring, again, a D&D podcast where me, Tone, Law, and various other creators get together, and we're playing fun-loving characters, especially this guy right here, the funnest loving character, Kyver. Check that out, guys. You would love it. You will like it. And see all the amazing artwork at mbeyond.com. Finally, if you're not following us on TikTok, what are you waiting for? Please go on TikTok and follow us. And Beyond is going back to a virtual con again this year, 28th and 29th. If you're an artist who wants to showcase at the show, a vendor who wants to showcase at the show, go to connect@mbeyond.com. Right there. Email that email right there. It's right there. You see it. You see it. You see it. It's right there in the tone. You can't miss it.
We see it. I hope they see it too.
Yes. But no, it's going to be an amazing event. We're putting together a lot of great panels for the show. Nerds is helping with sponsoring with the panels. So there are a lot of great panels from learning to marketing. It's going to be a great networking event for creatives to get together, to learn from their peers, to network and meet their peers through a great virtual setting. So please, guys, make sure you save the date, the 28th and the 29th. Finally, let's go. We have some comments up in here. Okay. Hey, Cheyenne. What up, George?
What's going on, peeps?
Chris? Oh, Cheyenne wants to showcase. Actually, Cheyenne, drop that link in the chat right there. She just dropped a very awesome. Make sure you guys drop that out. So first up, again, we want to introduce, because we have some amazing guests in the background that we want to bring out right away, so we can get into today's topic, which is Loki. First and foremost, we want to bring out. She is an awesome actress. She is an actress. Yes, you heard me say an actress. She is one valuable member of the team known as Bitten Apple. You got to see one of her amazing teammates on here, which is Rafael Tavares. We got to invade their show as well. I want to give it up.
Yeah.
The one, the only, Les Frye. Les, what's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
Hey, everybody.
How you doing, Les? Welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
Soon we're going to have everybody from Bitten Apple here, and it's just going to be a Bitten Apple invasion. Let's go. I'm ready for that. And also, too, showing out there. So guys, make sure you check out the link is right there for Cheyenne's new poetry book. She put it out. So go ahead, save that link, guys. Next person on the list, we want to bring him out. So when we started our lives, we got to talk about an awesome anthology put out by comicbookschool.com. And this writer had his comic featured in his book with amazing artists that he teamed up with. The book was freaking awesome. It was one of my favorite stories in the books. I mean, it had awesome teddy bears dealing with the dreamscape and everything. So if you haven't seen this book, go to comicbookschool.com after this broadcast, download the free anthology for panel 1 so you can read the this gentleman's book. Check out his links in the description as well, because we want to make sure everyone's links is there. I want to give it up for the one, the only Kris Burgos. Kris, welcome.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
How's everybody?
Hello, welcome.
What's up?
Let me know if I'm going over the top, but I want to welcome you guys. Thank you
no.
for coming on.
I feel it's good. It's fluffy. I like this.
Next on the list, you saw her at MBon Con last year doing some awesome drawing. You saw her at our Drink and Draw doing some awesome drawing and everything, because she is an amazing artist. She's also an amazing cosplayer. She does some amazing TikTok featuring her cosplayer. She is also a Twitch streamer. She's this overall awesome, dope artist who we are happy to bring back on the show. Give it up for the one, the only Diane Aragon. Diane.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for having me again. Glad to be back.
Yes.
Love having everybody back on the show. We want to welcome everybody back, first timers, new timers, and everybody. Thank you guys for coming on, and thank you guys for coming on to the Loki premiere.
I'm excited.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes. We got a full house. Super excited to jump in and talk about this series.
Oof.
We want to say, what's up, Matt? How you doing?
Yo.
What's up? What's up?
So we want to start off with the opening and how you guys fell with this opening show. What up, Sorrel?
What's up,
So
brother?
I want to get everyone's feedback with the opening when we deep dived into seeing that New York scene, but this time re-edited to look like the aftermath and everything in the opening of Loki. So Diane, we will start with you.
Well, seeing it from going back to the past and seeing him transfer over, I was like, oh my god, where is he gonna end up? like especially after hearing Thor yell his name constantly, I was like, oh my god, can he hear that? Does he know? It was such a feeling.
Let's jump in right there with you.
I'm going to tell you how good that scene was. It was so good that I really re-questioned what happened in the Avengers movie. And I had to go back because it was so well organized. I was like, did he really disappear? Did he actually disappear? Did he come back? And my husband had to tell me, he's like, babe, they captured him. He was, arrested and everything. I was like, oh my God, this is so good how they just wove this into one another. It just, and you know what I really liked about it is the fact that we're watching a television show and that we actually saw movie actors in a television show. This was really deep for me because normally people don't cross over unless they're doing a one-off show or something like that. But to actually see the cast of the Avengers there, these are all movie actors doing that scene. It was fantastic, which made me realize that these two worlds are going to always mesh, that there's not going to be any difference.
It's that Disney money. And yes, George, you are right. What did we miss? We missed this. So, Tone, please.
Tone.
Tone,
sorry.
you said you fell off your game.
I'm sorry. It's been a while. It's been a while. We want to jump in. I'm sorry. As you know, Nerds of the Round, we are not a show that tiptoes around spoilers. No, we don't have time to do 2 shows. We do 1 show per episode. So tonight we are talking episode 1 of Loki. Spoilers beware. Tony Stark has died. Loki is a variant. If you haven't watched episode 1 and you're here, cool, hang out with us and learn all you need to know and then watch the episode. Or get out and watch the recording on YouTube. Either way, spoilers afoot, my friends. Welcome.
Kris, let's deep dive in for that big segment for you. How did you feel about this opening?
Let me tell you, what was amazing was how they kind of retconned everything that happened in the first Avengers movie, and they started it with Endgame, and then they just continued it with Loki, and it's just the way that they kind of wove it all together. It was seamless. It was awesome. I like the opening alone. kind of had me say, wow, that's what happened. Okay. And I was saying the same thing. I was like, what did happen in that end of that movie? Then I went back and I thought about it and I rewatched it a little bit. And then I went back to Endgame because that's all the time travel and everything's going on. I'm just like, damn, they did such a good job of just like putting the layers in and like squeezing pieces in where you wouldn't expect them. And the world building in the first like 10 minutes alone just kind of tells you right off the bat, if you're not caught up with the MCU, don't bother. But if you're caught up, you know exactly what the hell's going on. And it's awesome. It's awesome.
And just to touch up on Gerogos, I want to, you know what I saw? I saw a series throw out 10 years of the MCU out the window. It's giving everybody a great new starting point, actually.
I don't know. I got comments. Oh, wait.
His reaction watching his story and how it ends. Complete moment.
Yes, I want to get to that so badly.
And Tom Mason is a great actor. Yes, we're going to back into that. I got a list of stuff that we're going to cover today, and we're going to get through it.
It's all right, Jarrell. I'll get to your point. I'll get to your point.
Go ahead, Tony.
My turn. No.
It is your turn. It's
Diane's turn. What is this?
Oh, Diane, just wait. Diane was first.
I'm ready, man. Except for me. All right, I'm ready. So first of all, there's no way in hell this threw 10 years of storytelling out the window. Sorry, how, Sway?
Put in 10 more years.
Look, the show happens, and I completely forget that he immediately teleports away from New York and is in Mongolia somewhere. And in the background, if you think about it, even though they're resetting the time, Endgame is happening. Avengers are saving the universe, and all of this is happening in the background. So now, looking at what Jarrell talking about, how they're throwing 10 years out the window, they're not. We are looking at a multiversal, cosmic scale now. We are beyond just the linear path of beginning and ending. Yeah. Loki is now opening up everything. What I believe we're gonna potentially see with Loki, with all the different variants, touching into maybe female Loki, older Loki, all of that. We're getting a grander scale for MCU because at this point, after 10 years, we can't just do big bad, lead them up, Infinity Stones. We've got to go bigger. And what's the way to go bigger? We expand into multiple universes and worlds. So
that was smart on the writer's part. It really was, because we're really actually rehashing this whole world again. It was just like a reset within a reset. I'm telling you, it was genius.
I think that intro did a lot, not only to like set the precedent of like we're all in for a brand new experience, but so was Loki. So like Loki traveled, gets hit by all these guys, and like he's like, yeah, you're gonna be stuck in this time, feeling all the pain of that punch, but in like real time as you're slowly taking in the pain. Like that literally just said all of what you know, you can almost throw it out the window. Just know that you're in for a wild ride going forward.
Can I say something about that punch? That was truly a black mama slap into your next existence.
Yo, you ain't never lied. That's so true.
When she did it, I was like,
I am fed up with your bullshit.
Oh, man, I want to touch up on a lot of that. So
you got Jarrell's coming at me right now. I'm looking at all these comments.
Slow down the comments.
Come on.
Seeing Loki watch himself die and realize he doesn't achieve his ultimate goal, and seeing this at the point made him feel that Thanos for Iron Man stole the stones. Yeah, we're gonna touch up on that too, because that was just one of those scenes. And he goes, yeah, well, that we don't know of. We only know what the TVA is telling us.
Propaganda.
Yes. Actually, I am going to share the link after this video of what's in the credits, because they do touch up that the TVA is leading on to a lot of propaganda. So we don't know that this is the main timeline or anything like that. And it is touched up upon that, especially when Marvel went to 616 and everything. But that's besides the point. Well, again, I want to get your thoughts on the beginning. Please.
I did my thoughts.
I'm sorry. I'm all over the place today. I love all you guys. I got a lot of great people over here because I want to talk about the comment about Loki that he made. This was a callback remember the speech that Loki made to Nick Fury about how we're all how the humans are ants under God's boots and everything, and Nick Fury was like points at him ant, and then he points at extreme boot. We see Loki actually reduced to that in this episode. Actually, how do you guys feel about that? That comment really came back to haunt them. Kris, go ahead. You rose the hand.
Let me tell you, I thought the greatest moment in this entire episode was when he finally gets the Tesseract in his hands and sees the stones.
Yes.
And it was one of those moments where it's like everything is around him, all these sources of like immense infinite power and everything, and these people are just using them as paperweights. And it's just it's like a slap in the face to him, basically. That's just like, yeah, everything you know as powerful is beneath everything that the TVA knows about. So you are easily an ant to the TVA. And like seeing him reduced like that was like the great. He's just like, he gave up. He was like, what the? This is what real power is. And I felt for him. So I was like, yo, that's how you've been treating everybody. And you're finally just like, moment. Yeah, you're finally getting it. You're finally taking it. And it was just like, dang, yeah. That was a moment for me that said, okay, Loki's he's gonna go onto the course of either not necessarily being the same character he became in Thor Ragnarok, but he's gonna have a different path where he's more, humble and a little bit more toned down from I should be the god of everything. So I love that moment.
Diane.
That was literally the moment I wanted to talk about, because it was like when he grabbed the Tesseract and he saw so many stones, which, by the way, it looked like he wanted to steal one, but an extra one. But it really looked like he had like an awakening, like, okay, like, wow, okay, they're not joking. This really doesn't mean anything here. So it was like such a point of realization for him that was like, maybe I should just, kind of compromise with them a little bit to get myself out of here.
Yep. Questions. We got some questions. I want to touch up on this question. What does that say about the Eternals and the Celestials? Well, actually, in the credits, again, I'm going to share it where they're saying that this great war that they're talking about might have involved the Celestials, and that's why we might have seen that head from nowhere. So there's a lot that they're introducing, especially with throwing in the TVA. And touching up on Matt's question, again, they touch up on the credits, like there's like 9 realms, which was touched up in Thor, the first movie. The TVA exists somewhere outside the 9 realms, and there's little hints that's really thrown in there. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack in this episode, where there's a lot of great things that are coming out with it. It's pretty interesting. And did he actually put that stone back? We don't know. We didn't see it.
I think he tossed it. I mean,
he just didn't care about it.
He hucked it. He was like, "This means nothing to anyone around me. Why should it mean something to me? I'm just going to normalize myself."
Yeah, and I agree.
The stones, they pretty much, because from what we know from, my goodness, I'm trying to remember. What we know from Endgame is that the stones are powered by the timeline. But if the TVA is getting rid of said timeline where the stone goes, then the stone is then pointless.
Right.
And useless, and it's negated. So I think that's why they're essentially paperweights.
And I want Les, you're next. Go ahead, Les. I wanted to lead into that with that, and then go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to know, did anybody see the whole Fallout game vibes here? The TVA looked like Fallout.
Oh,
so if you think about it, everything. So if you think about it, in Fallout, you have a group of people who are being controlled by someone else in this environment, and it's literally like that, and all the machines are happy, but everything around it is serious. So it was very Fallout-ish at the beginning. It basically had the same feel as Fallout, is that you are under some type of observation no matter what you do.
If you notice too, to add to your point, and to add to Les's point, if you notice that area where Loki was working around to get the ticket, there are tons of propaganda posters in there,
just like Fallout.
And
just like Fallout.
And they say too, what is it? Yes, Matt, what is a fish? I don't know what a fish is. I don't eat fish. But no, they were saying that too, approved by the TVA, a lot of the documents. So there are people that's controlling information and all that in there, which again, that's that take, and I like that. Ooh, Fallout take after a war.
Yo, for real, like I would have never
go
thought.
Ahead. Take it up next, Law. Go ahead. You're up next.
So seeing all that, like seeing him being humbled like that, I knew coming in, the question was going to be, because he's not going to live out the same timeline as he did leading up to Thor Ragnarok, what was going to be the thing that ultimately like humbles him and brings him to like a sense of like, oh, like I can't do this, or maybe this isn't my path, or whatever the case was. Just him like trying to escape and doing all this stuff, and the whole, his whole hubris got shattered. And then you just see him like kudos to Tom Hiddleston. He is such a brilliant actor.
Yes.
Like, and I knew that beforehand, but I don't think I have ever appreciated Loki until this first episode, where I was like, wow, this is what we're doing? All right, cool. Because he literally was just like, yeah, like my magic is worthless. My, title, my, the fact that I'm a god, like they're looking at you like, that's cool. Gods mean absolutely jack diddly here. And he was like, like, what does that have to say to like, what's a king to a god? Like, what, like, say it. So it was so beautifully done. So beautifully done. And I'm looking forward to like everything else that comes as a result of him with this newfound realization. It's not the same thing where before, yes, he saw his mom die. He saw like the events happen, but he wasn't there for it. So now he's watching as like from an outside perspective going, that's where everything leads. This is what my path like dictates. Damn, I'm really only supposed to help other people become like what they're supposed to be.
No, I got some. Go ahead, Leslie.
Oh, I wanted to say something too, because I really looked at every clues. I had to relook at it and everything like this. Yes. So when he went through the temporal reading scan, did you notice that his aura was red?
Yep.
So that means that that's an energetic and fiery person who's quick at putting their thoughts into action, but they don't need or use instruction manuals. But here he's in the place that's the antithesis of that, where everything is structured, everything is organized, everything has rules and regulations. And he's different from all of that. So I did check that out.
I want to gloss over that too and add to that, because that scene, because I want to get everybody's opinion on that, and I'm going to lead in with Tone with this one. Did you catch the fact that, when he was going through it, he didn't know, it's like, wait, am I a robot? I don't even know I'm a robot, because it's like it says it will melt them all that. In a way, that was kind of like a call to like Blade Runner, like a little nod to Blade Runner with that. Like, how did you feel? And also too, it was a scene that you saw real fear in Loki's eye. He's like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Like, Tone, lead in with this one, please.
I mean, it comes off at first as like a jest, because you've got the guy who's working the machine like, all right, man, come on. I don't got all day. I got the next variant to deal with. But it's the first chip to fall for Loki. Like that's the first set of self-doubt that's coming. Like after he has that interaction with like, can you sign all these things for everything that you said? And he's already like kind of going through this process of like, what the hell happened? He was in Mongolia and he was like, I'm a god and I'm about to beat your ass. And then she hits him with the time stick. And he's just kind of seeing all of this happen. And the first thing that happens is like, maybe I am a robot, maybe. And that's it. That's the self-doubt snowball effect. And that's what we see from the beginning of the episode up until the end of the episode. So where we get to him, where he's sitting there on the ground, essentially saying, I don't want to hurt people. I hurt people to make myself feel powerful. And so I think that was a important, but funny, but really good spot to have in the show.
Diane, you up next, Diane.
It was a really big existential crisis for him. Like he paused and was like, what is my life right now? Who am I? It was a big step for him. Like you watch him slowly kind of go back to the way he was before he died. So he wasn't necessarily like a hero, but an anti-hero. So kind of like somewhere in the middle. So you kind of watch his like character development like speed up times 10 in just one episode, because he was still just the mischievous scamp in this beginning of this episode. And then he went through like a whole therapy self-essential crisis session throughout this entire episode, and almost kind of just went back close to where he was back in Ragnarok.
Kris.
I'm gonna go with what Tone said. Like that was the beginning of the snowball, and I thought it was cool. Just the whole episode was just a deconstruction of him as a character, and that was the point where it's like you do see his self-doubt right off the bat. And this is only like what the second thing that happened to him. The first thing was he got whipped with the time stick. All of a sudden, he's been hit with something that, you know, he's never been hit with before. Then he gets like stripped by a robot. And then let me tell you, homeboy was shredded. He was working out. So when that happened, I was like, damn, all right, Loki. Tom, good. You've been working out, man. Don't let Kris do all the work. You know, you got it. But
he was originally supposed to be Thor at one point. So
right, I remember that. Yeah. So he takes it seriously. Good. So yeah. Then after he gets stripped by the robot or whatnot, then he gets, you know, he goes to his machine and he's like, wait a minute. 2 things have already happened to me. I don't know if I can handle something else can happen. And then when he finally does go through the machine, and then the rest of the episode just follows after that, where it's like, yeah, you mean nothing to everything around you. Like when he wants to have that conversation in the courthouse, he's just like, I want to talk to the higher ups, gods. And they're just like, no, they're too busy for you. And it was just like everything, just completely deconstructing him. And it was awesome. I really liked how they just sat him down, like Tone said at the end of the episode, and he's just like, yeah, I do this because I want to feel powerful. I don't want to see people hurt. It was really cool to see how they took their time, the producers and everyone took their time with this episode and just made it a very simple like character breakdown. I thought it was great.
Touch up on Doc's comment here. This whole goal leading up to those, the god of all gods, and he got reduced to an act at the TVA. Yes, he did. Les, how do you feel of the breakdown of Loki? Because again, we're getting some really great comparisons. I mean, there's a lot to unpack in this episode, but that's some of the points we wanted to touch up on. But go ahead, I want your take on it.
You know, I love the fact that he had a cathartic moment where he really revisited his life about what made him feel like a god and what made him feel like the man, you know, the one that he has to do. And it's the thing, you know, the TVA agent asked him, you know, oh, you want to be the god of everything. You want to be the god of space. You want to be the god of whatever it is. But what happens then afterwards? It is not as fulfilling as if you're doing a good work. If you're doing something where people are going to love you and admire you because you're doing good work for them, or you're making things better for them, not that you're making their lives, you know, hell. Somebody made a comment about the fact that they thought that Loki was going to break the TVA. I think the opposite. I think he's going to end up starting to work for them. And here's my theory on that, is that that's going to make him feel good about who he is. Doing stuff and reworking incidences, you know, he may get in trouble a few times, but I think that that's what he wants to do. It's going to make him feel better to do well. So that's why we had to see this reconstruction of him and this breakdown.
You better watch it, Jarrell. Look, you got 2-on-1 on you, Tony and Les. That's it. They're coming after you, bro. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna admit it on air. I lost a bet to Tone, so I owe him a sandwich to Tony.
You have not lost a bet. No,
are you sure?
No, you need to say the outlandish shit you said to me.
I'm gonna say
when we were drinking on Saturday.
I said that Mephisto. It's hinted that it's gonna be Mephisto and this, and you know. So if it's
no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to hijack this whole thing.
Go on.
Okay, so you know how we see Mobius for the first time in the church. Mm-hmm. Right, and then he gets to the little girl and he asks her, "Hey, who did this?" And she points to the devil, and we're all like, "Okay, it's Loki because of the fucking horns." This guy over here was like, "Nah, it's Mephisto." And I looked at him like, "Shame, no, you know what? Fool me once, shame on you, Marvel. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not falling for the Mephisto hole again. I did it. I was all in on WandaVision." So I'm saying, nope, it is Loki. It is one of the iterations of Loki. Is that what that is? And he was like, he will buy me a sandwich.
I disagree.
I'm going to be eating a sandwich live on air that he bought.
Wait, Leslie, what?
I disagree with you. He's the god of mischief, but not the god of murder. And I'm going to tell you that when they came in there and he had annihilated all of those guards there, they said that they were all stabbed. That's something personal. That's not... You know, that's not something that a god would do. I don't think so. I think that kid pointing out the devil was actually calling out the devil. And I think that whatever this is, that is this manifestation is actually following Loki through the timeline. It is not Loki.
I have a theory that the variant that they're going after is another version of Loki.
They've already said that.
They've already said that, right?
Yeah.
They said
Yeah.
that.
They said that.
We think it's everyone's thinking it's female Loki.
Yep,
Yes.
because
You think it's okay?
Because if you look at Loki's profile, when they're looking at his profile and they showed it in the credits, it says his sex gender fluid.
He's gender
Which
fluid.
is,
Yes.
I mean, when you go to Norse mythology, hello.
He's always been. Yeah.
He's always been. Well, now Disney is admitting it. Disney has now joined the LGBTQ world by actually putting an identity, a sexual identity, onto somebody. That's something they've never done. They've alluded to that and stuff, but they've never actually put it on paper. So kudos to them.
So I had some stuff I wanted to touch up about colors because there was some significant. Marvel always does some significant colors. I'm just gonna just throw it out there. Was that when they do the reset grenade, it went from orange to purple. When we look at the batons, the purple baton is what freezes Loki, which he gets smacked with by Agent B-15. But then the red color disintegrates people. But also, too, it's a callback because Agatha Harkness, she's used purple magic, and Dormammu has used, saw purple magic radiating from his eyes. So there are hints that might be like a time reset or something, but that was interesting in color. But I want to get into the fun question with seeing the fun variants that we've seen in this episode, because we see Variant Martin. We don't know who the hell that is. It's Variant Martin, but we see a Skrull in a tracksuit. And we see a possible variant of Peggy Carter. Kris, I'm going to lead into you with the. Well, actually, Law, I want to lead into you with the variants. How did you feel as a fan seeing with these variants and all that?
I feel like they gave those just to give those. I wanna be like, oh man, this could be this person, but again, WandaVision, we were so invested in like the Easter eggs and what ifs and what have you, that I'm just like not doing it.
You're not catching me.
I'm not doing it. Like so, I'm like, so like I saw like I saw it. I was like, cool. Then afterwards, someone was like, oh, that was Peggy Carter. And I looked at it again. I was like, oh, okay, that's Peggy Carter. Like I literally just was like, okay, cool. Like I'm not touching it. I'm like, that's cool. If something else happens later on, cool. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, guys, did you? Not doing it.
Diane?
Well, I mean, the whole thing with Peggy Carter is, I mean, Captain America stayed and relived his life.
Right.
So technically, he also created a different multiverse and opened up a whole can of other worms that Loki didn't even touch yet.
So, like, technically, they are confirming that when he went back, he did create an alternate timeline.
Yes.
That's the one thing
I feel like they might not even do anything with Peggy after this, but it's more like, yeah, Rogers, you did that. Thanks.
Or it could be the Peggy, because technically the Peggy from the whatever that show, that spinoff show that she had, is now considered a alternate universe thing. So it could have been that.
That's why her show got canceled. She got arrested by the TVA. Kris, we lead into you now with this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I'm not falling for any traps as well. You know how Marvel likes to sometimes stick their things in every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just like dropping the Easter eggs just to drop them. Maybe they'll come back to the Skrull thing, which I hope they do. The Peggy Carter thing, if anything, you'll see that. Yeah, I completely agree. I think it would be awesome also if there is an episode where Loki has to deal with Cap. You know, going back to the past, and say he turns Peggy Carter into a variant purely by him arriving. And then Loki has to kind of tweak things. So that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I'm not, don't get me started with WandaVision, because WandaVision was like, it broke my heart because it was absolute fire for the first like 4 episodes. I'll even give 5. But once they revealed Agatha and all that nonsense, it was like the fastest swan dive face plant into cement I've ever seen in my life. It was bad. So I was really hurt by the end of that show, and I'm hoping that they don't start setting up, you know, for a balls joke 6 episodes in. You know,
it could be Agatha all along. So you know.
Don't do that to me.
Don't do that. That's your tag.
I'm so shocked you didn't like that, Kris. I loved it. I loved the reveal. You know, and listen, go ahead.
No. You know what? It could have been better. I also I didn't like the fact that she hammed it up too much. She was like too cackly and finger like. I just couldn't. And I wished that she had just a little bit more seriousness to the situation she was in. Plus, Wanda didn't get away with. She got away with like a slap on the wrist, whereas like you read the comics and stuff, she's not a stable person. She shouldn't have gotten off as scot-free as she did. And everyone in town should have chased her out with pitchforks and torches or ran for their lives the moment she showed up walking on the street.
Or maybe it's a setup for something further down the line with mutants, since they wanted to hit mutants in that show. But we don't know.
I hope.
We don't know.
Yeah,
I hope.
I honestly feel that they were going for the feels for that, and I was there for the feels. So I didn't care how they acted the characters. I just really loved the emotion that was tied to everything. But one thing I do have to say, and we are talking about Loki, that I thought was very strange, and I know because we know that Marvel has a tendency to send us into wild goose chases. Did anybody think it was strange that this kid wasn't freaked out about seeing a god that looked like the devil?
Was most
the entire interaction with the kid
was strange. And we did not see what happened with that kid. The guy took his word of value. Yeah, sent him back. We didn't see what happened to him. He just took his for word value that he saw something that looked like the devil. But my perspective on that was the fact that this kid he seemed very nonplussed. Either he's used to seeing this all the time or something's up with that kid.
Well, again, it might not even have taken place on Earth. It could have been, something like Skarsgård where they learn like the Groot language as in a curriculum.
Well, the thing is, I thought it was strange. He was totally. I don't think he was scared eating candy.
Chris, go ahead, Chris. You were going to answer that.
No, I think the kid could have been scared as mine too. I mean, when you think about it, first of all, the gum was called kablooey. I thought it was a bomb or something like that. But it's also the color of Loki's skin. Loki's a frost giant, remember? Mm-hmm. So it could have been Loki in frost giant form, completely destroying all those TVA agents. He could have been just on like a rampage. So maybe the Loki we're going to see in the future that he's going to be chasing is like a completely frost giant version of himself.
And so maybe what they got stabbed with was like an icicle or something, some kind of form of that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, can the second episode come out yet? So I want
a couple hours.
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning. Oh. So I'm gonna lead into you with this question, Tone. And we're gonna go around every. First of all, I want to know, how does everyone feel that Loki is DB Cooper because he lost a bet to Thor? Tone, lead into that.
I love that.
I think, you know what? I think it just plays to the whole trickster aspect of Loki and the fun trickster aspect, not the inciting Ragnarok trickster aspect. And so it shows that there was clearly a relationship, a two-brother relationship that they had, because we don't really get to see it that much from the movies. We see them way after they're much older. So there's feelings that Loki has for his brother and for Heimdall and all of this. And so I think it's just one of those things that I hope we get to see it. I hope we get to see more tricks that he does on Earth or on Midgard, and like it's a whole to do, and playing off of crimes and things that happened where the person was never caught. Because I think it's a really cool way of blending in American or world history, depending on where you're at, with the Norse mythology of the MCU. So I thought it was a really cool way to bring it in there, just to throw it in for the fans, because it wasn't obviously needed. It was just really cool to have, and I'm glad we got it.
Chris,
same, totally. Like I can't agree more. I hope they do that a lot more. I hope they have like an episode where it's like, oh, Loki was Jack the Ripper at one point or something, where he actually is doing some really dastardly things. And he has to go out there and stop himself. Like, I hope they stick with that kind of, like, what did Loki do in the past kind of question mark throughout the show, because I think that would be a really cool way to also help, like, kind of continue his deconstruction. So
I think We totally agree. And David says Marvel is so good at dropping the smallest foreshadowing elements that they're looking at the screen like this is insignificant character is punching his left hand, so Tony Stark must be alive. Tony Stark is dead, so
Tony Stark is dead.
Actually,
if we get him back, it's going to be as an AI. That's it.
Depends
that's
on the
how do you
universe.
think they be
Oh yeah,
AI?
depends. As we
It's
go, we
true,
got the
which
multiverse.
universe?
We're
Yeah.
about to get What If coming up. So, Les, how did you feel about the DB Cooper and the whole thing that he did it because he lost a bet to Thor? How was that for you?
I loved it. And I think it's so what I think is so wonderful about it is DB Cooper is so embedded in the lore of America as to what he is and who he was and how he was never discovered. Immediately when the camera panned on him being on this plane, and I love the fact that the flight attendant, here's me, an ex-flight attendant right here, that this really good-looking man is asking, you're flirting with this good-looking man, and he's like, I have a bomb. And you give me all the money and stuff like that. And it's like, damn, thought I had that one, But I thought it was so hilarious. I literally hollered when I was like, oh my gosh, freaking out and stuff. They gave me what I wanted and needed at that moment. So I loved it.
Diane, and then Law, you're up next to take us away with this one.
I mean, there's really I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just hilarious. You really see the before relationship between Thor and Loki, and it was more of Thor's character within the first Thor movie, which was just more partying, jokester, and not very serious, leading up to just Loki losing a bet and doing something just mess around on Earth. So I just really like that entire dynamic, and seeing what else did they do in Earth and just
How
messed
many
around with?
How many
How many bets
more?
did he lose?
How many unsolved mysteries do they have?
Exactly.
But I'm also here for the fact that Heimdall was in on it. Can we just appreciate the fact that Stoic, who doesn't really let anything fly, Heimdall is like, nah, I'm in on the joke. I'm in on the bet. What? He's like, Heimdall, you better be ready. I'm booking it. That was my favorite part. Was I can expect that from Thor. 100% expect that from Thor. But for Heimdall to be like, all right, I'll turn on the frost. I'll turn on the Bifrost.
When you're watching the Bifrost all that time, you got to get bored every once in a while.
That's valid. That's valid. It was so good. I was glad that they gave him a little bit of that. He can have fun too.
No, and I thought that was great. Again, that illustrated more of the character developments, a fun side we get to see that we don't normally get to see. Because
if we actually see more of the Asgardians, throughout the course
we
of the
might
show.
see more of the history of it, but this was something I definitely wanted to touch up on, and I definitely want to get everyone's feedback on this one. Was Justice Ravonna Renslayer, and she has a deep lore in the comics tied with Kang the Conqueror, which we know who's been casted in the MCU. And we also know that Kang the Conqueror in the comics has worked with the TVA, has also been one of the biggest villains for the Avengers. And Ravonna has also had affections with Kang. She's been his, love, and later on wants revenge on him after everything with Secret Wars. How did you guys, what are your speculations with the introduction of this character? Do you think we're going to see more? You think that it's going to be also leading up to maybe possible Kang the Conqueror reveal who's going to be an Ant-Man? Diane, we'll leave with you with this one.
I don't think we'll see Kang the Conqueror in Loki. I think we'll probably see a little bit more of Justice and seeing where her relationship lies, possibly with him. So as an indirect connection for the meantime. But we'll really see where her alliances are. Is she with Kang? Is she plotting something, or is she just strictly with the TVA right now? And they're just, they're just fluttering right now. They're not really fully together.
Chris,
I think it's a great discussion with the character. I do think you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some Kang, honestly. Now that the MCU is stepping into the whole time aspect of stuff, I think it'd be awesome if he just steps in the background. He might be another Easter egg or something where you see his time suit. But as far as Justice goes, it's I don't know. I'm expecting someone to get vaporized somewhere along the line. I just want to see one of those batons just go the wrong way and totally take out someone, and like it almost did in episode 1. And Loki gets the finger. He's like, oh, it's his fault. And so, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen at some point.
Les?
You know what I'm looking at it from the actor's perspective, the fact that Loki and this whole lore is using a lot of the actors from Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
So Kang being Jonathan Majors, and then Agent B-15 is Wunmi Mosaku. I think it's very interesting that they're using these people in this Marvel universe. It's like Marvel is recycling Disney is recycling their actors or using their actors. I don't know exactly. It's really strange, but they've gotten these people from Lovecraft Country to play these roles. Very up and coming people of color, which I'm very pleased with. I honestly also think that we might see Kang the Conqueror too, because of the TV dynamic or the live stream episode dynamic of these people being involved in these TV shows or these live stream shows that we're watching, binge watching. So yeah, we may get a glimpse, or maybe that might be there because he's going to be in the new Ant-Man movie. Is that correct?
Yep.
So this might be something that kind of triggers the aha moment that we're going to see. Because like I said, right now, Loki is opening up every universe, is touching on everything that's getting ready to come out in Marvel. So why not introduce us to Kang the Conqueror at that time?
Tony, Law, what are your thoughts on this?
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
I'll go. Well, I think to what we were talking about before is that there's a really great connection between the TV shows and the movies and how they're able to just kind of swap actors in and out. So I think showing her now, I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up in Multiverse Quantumania. Because she may have, especially if she becomes a reoccurring role and a prominent character in the TVA. But also, what's also fun about Kang the Conqueror is that we know potentially that Chronopolis is around because you do potentially see it in Ant-Man and the Wasp if you're like really looking. Apparently, from screen grabs and all this. But I think it's just a way to connect characters in the TV show to characters that we're going to see set up in the movies, because we're going to be swapping and using these characters and kind of building in the lore and how Marvel's going to use them. They've been really great about figuring out which characters from the comic books they're going to use and then putting them on the board and then using them strategically. They're not going to use every single important member of the TVA, but the people that they do bring in are going to play important pieces. And I think having her there and her already canonical relationship with him could play a role in either in this or in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Maybe we'll even get a name drop. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll see Kang in full. I think they'll continue to use Justice throughout the course of the series, and then probably through some hallway discussion, Kang gets brought up or what have you, and that leads into the next movie where we'll actually see Kang. If we do see him, like how Kris said, like just in the background character, I feel like that's a little cheap, like how we expected for stuff to happen in WandaVision or in Captain America, and so it's like, I wouldn't put it past them to do that, to just be like, have Kang or have anyone related to Kang in that scope, but like we don't need it. We just more so need a connection there so we can have it to make sense later on. Because if you're I think what they're doing is they're setting up the breadcrumbs now so that later on when we see it, for the people who aren't as savvy on the comics, it makes sense. They're like, oh, that's why they did this, versus trying to introduce this character Kang in the movie and all the things that he's attached to in one movie when there's so much else going on with that movie.
They could possibly end up with him maybe an appearance in the last episode of the series.
Yep. They could possibly do that. Do like a whole like tease of just his back. Like they just pan in and you just see his back. You don't see the face. You know, I would totally buy
Thanos
that.
much.
Yeah. Listen, they can recycle.
Pink 2014 Thanos.
Yes.
And the whole theater went buck wild because we all knew who that was.
Yep, that's all you need. But I'm gonna touch up on Chris's favorite show because it involves his favorite show, WandaVision.
Stop getting palpitations already. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, but this is something I thought that was pretty interesting because they mentioned in Loki Nexus events, and we do see in WandaVision one of the commercials. Nexus was a company that was selling over-the-counter brand medications in one of the commercials, and that Wanda is referred to being a Nexus being. We know the multiverse of madness is coming up in Doctor Strange, and she's going to be a character in there, and Loki is introducing the whole concept of Doctor Strange. And that Miss Minute, voiced by the one, the only Tara Strong, awesome voice actress who's voiced many of our favorite characters. Again, she talks about the multiverse and the Great War, which we wanted to talk about, which it's believed that this might have been a great war involving the celestial beings and everything, maybe the Internals, so that there was this great war, and the Timekeepers in some way were involved. They could possibly be the Time Breakers too, who are villains in the comics. So the question is this: do we think that Wanda, and Chris, you're going to lean to this, do we think that Wanda is going to be the person to start off the next multiverse war?
Oh, yes. I mean, if Marvel does it right, and stays true to the character, Wanda can easily be the person that, like, you know, snaps her fingers and turns things inside out and backwards. And they've already proven that she's as powerful to do it, like you said. They've already said that she's a Nexus being, somebody that has the potential to, you know, alter reality. I think they need to break Wanda, really. That's what I want. I want them to break her heart, break her soul, break her mind, and I want her to be like either the villain or like someone who kind of just is doing whatever the heck she wants just to get what she wants. And her what's the word I'm thinking about? Her selfishness is kind of what sets the entire MCU off its rails. If we saw that, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. If they don't go that way, my heart is going to be like, okay, why is Wanda here? But yeah, it's like Wanda. First of all, the movie's dope as hell just because of Doctor Strange. I mean, he's awesome. But if Wanda isn't like, if Wanda is anything but a barrier for him, it's gonna make her less interesting character in the place. And I think they've straight up said she's more powerful than Doctor Strange. They said that in WandaVision, and I'm like, yo, serious? You can't be more powerful than Sorcerer Supreme? That's nuts. And for her to just straight up declare that, it just made me say, damn, she's in that movie, she better be the bad guy.
Yeah, they hinted how powerful she was, because when they show that end scene that she's able to still function while in astral projection, and Doctor Strange can't do that. Les, lead it. Take your jump into that question. Go ahead,
Chris. You really have it for her. I can't believe it.
Oh man, just go on, Wanda. Take it.
There's
Wanda.
so much
untapped
potential. That's it. There's so much potential that we want to see.
Honestly, I'm going to go the opposite of that. I think that they've established her as being more of a loving character at the end of WandaVision. So I don't see her making this drastic turn in Doctor Strange. Honestly, it could be Kang the Conqueror. I mean, he is a Nexus being, you all. He is. So we're talking about this. We have every element there. Everything is set up. Maybe he's the one that's going to trip everything up. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be Wanda. You know, I think there's 15 Nexus beings in the Marvel universe, and Kang is one. I think it's Kang. I mean, he's already cast. He's ready to go, and you already know he's going to be the bad guy.
I already have my thoughts for you on that one. That's going to help out everybody with it. But Diane, go ahead.
I'm with Kris, honestly. I love Wanda so much. She's one of my favorite X-Men, one of my favorite mutants heroes. But I do think she has the potential to be the villain in Doctor Strange. And the reason for that is because she is practicing dark magic through the Darkhold. And she does not know what that means. She does not know what that can awaken. All she knows is that she's a Nexus being. She still doesn't know what that entirely itself means. So there's a lot of potential for her to be a villain by complete accident.
Law.
I'm going to hot take it and say there's not going to be just one thing to set off what would be the next Great War, if there is going to be a next Great War. Because we have so many cards in play right now. Loki is creating a Nexus event by himself. Who's to say Loki himself or that alternate version of him running amok does not become a Nexus being themselves? I'm saying it. There's going to be probably more than one thing to set this thing off. Also, keep in mind that when we talk about the Celestials, the Eternals, and whatnot, compared to their comic book counterparts, they have been severely nerfed by MCU standards. So we don't know that this may tip the scales where we see them actually in their full, glory again. Who knows? Because if we all know our comics like we do, Thanos is technically Celestial, part of that, whole thing.
Because his dad's Alars.
Right.
Because his dad's Alars.
And then we've met, the why can't I think of Jeff Goldblum and Benicio, the Collector and the Game Master.
Yeah,
they're super powerful beings that were reduced to just guys. You know what I mean? So I'm sure.
Whoa. Jeff Goldblum is not just a guy. It's Jeff Goldblum. Get it straight.
The Game Master was nerfed.
He was nerfed. He was nerfed.
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster. That's what it was. Grandmaster was nerfed.
Yeah.
So if we do get something that would essentially reduce. So here's where we have all of these cosmic, time stone, all the Infinity Stones reduced to nothing. Essentially, they're paperweights. What if the opposite happens, where all of the beings that we know who should be way more, powerful in the MCU actually do become more powerful in the MCU?
Tony.
So a couple things just to really jump on before my take. I think so. Just with King the Conqueror, I really think it depends on what the MCU is going to do with them. I hope they do not fall into the trap of bringing in this really, really good villain on paper and then sticking him to a singular movie, because we don't know what his arc is going to be. They're bringing him into Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania. What's his role? Is he going to be part of this big bad, or is he going to be like that gray character who comes back and forth? So I really hope it's option B, because I really don't think you waste Jonathan Majors on just the one-off movie. He's such a fantastic actor. My take, though, is I think from this show, we're going to see why the TVA was created. So from my understanding of the comics, the TVA was created so the Elder Gods can sustain living. That's it. At the end of the universe, they created the TVA, sent a guy back in time, and made sure the timeline goes the way it's supposed to so that they stay alive. It's self-serving purpose. So I think Loki is going to figure out what's happening with the TVA. The three lizard gods or whatever the hell they are. And that'll probably be the catalyst to start the next big multiverse war. And then we'll see Doctor Strange and we'll see all those other things that happen. But I think it really starts with the TVA getting uncovered for the nonsense and propaganda that it is, because it's for self-sustaining people who are trying to hold on to power in life and not a way to balance, not a way of balance.
I like it.
I like that too.
Well, now I got my take, because it leads into this next question. Ooh. Because Agent Morbius mentions the Nightmare Department and says he will be happy to go with Loki to destroy that department, which we all know that there is a being known as Nightmare who is rumored to possibly be in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And go into Chris's point of Wanda. Now, Wanda, in WandaVision, she wasn't the villain. She was manipulated and doing a lot of her stuff, her emotions and everything. Who's to say that Nightmare wouldn't be the one to manipulate Wanda to start the next multiverse war. Because again, I don't feel that this would be something that they would just mention just to mention it. It's just like he throws it out there. Nightmare is a character that, again, it's rumored to be in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Les will lead into you with this one.
So this really brings a lot of thought, and that's a really good comment that you made, because why did he say that about the Nightmare department? And as we know, Nightmare is a demon. So could this have possibly been the catalyst of the person or the thing that's creating the chaos that's going on right now? Maybe we're going out, we're throwing all these stats out here and we're trying to figure out who it could possibly be, female Loki and everything like that. But it could be something that was a clue that was dropped by Agent Mobius.
Nightmare is the son of Mephisto, isn't he?
Yes,
yeah.
he is.
Hello. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Chris, go ahead. You just opened that can of worms. Go right ahead. What are your thoughts?
Oh no! Everyone's like, no, I don't want to hear about Mephisto. He's not going to be in this or whatnot. That could totally be it. It could be Nightmare. Nightmare could be the manipulator of all of this, and maybe, what Loki is going to uncover about the TVA could cause him to turn on the TVA and be the reason why he's the villain in the background of the show. But it could just be something that leads into Nightmare, and Nightmare possibly this type of character that he could show Loki what's going on, or give him a nightmare, and that could be what sets Loki off. You never know. I think he's a really cool character that Marvel definitely obviously has the rights to, and it's someone that a lot of people probably wouldn't see coming. Yeah. And if he's in the Multiverse of Madness, I think it'd be a great way to introduce, because they haven't really had demon characters yet, right? In the MCU.
No, they haven't.
They've had the Asgardians, and other than that, nothing. So they touched on Hela being, kind of from the underworld a little bit, but they didn't really give her the full underworld spiel that she's supposed to have. Nightmare coming from, the nightmare world that needs to be destroyed. That would be awesome.
Diane.
There's so many ways that this could go. I feel like everyone pretty much said what needed to be said. I still am stuck on Wanda being very manipulated into being the villain. Mm-hmm. Because, like mentioned before, she is very unstable of a character and is just slowly starting to find her stability as soon as she's practicing dark magic. So her stability is teetering all over the place. and Loki may or may not uncover something either with her or with something else in the multiverse.
Law?
I'm questioning if you have Nightmare, and Nightmare is the one pulling the strings, could Nightmare be the one to pull multiple strings? Because if he can manipulate Wanda, that means he can also have maybe manipulated Loki into thinking what's the TVA doing? Why are they doing this? And just be that gentle push, do that, go this way. And that's what, kickstarted all these events. So either way, I don't want to speculate too much because we know where that goes. But the possibility that Nightmare, is a thing, sure. I would like to see it. They did confirm, the showrunners and whatnot confirmed there will be no Mephisto in this. But no Mephisto does not mean no Nightmare. So who knows?
To jump on Nightmare being the one pulling the strings, could it be that he is the one who is working with the opposite Loki, the one that's technically the villain in this?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It could be a possibility. We have
that's the one. That's the one that gave him the push to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Tony, you are up. Take us away with this one.
Jeez, what can be said that has not been said already?
We want you on the soapbox. Let's go.
I don't really. I don't have a soapbox for this one, but it's all good. It's one of those things where I think I do agree with the panel that I think we are getting Nightmare in Multiverse of Madness. I do think he'll probably be one of the main antagonists there, and I also like the idea that he's the one who pushed the other variant Loki to kind of go off edge and kind of start all this, because we know that the variant Loki is collecting, from what I gather, these time erasing bombs, because they kill the agents and then all the equipment is gone. So we don't really know what the other Loki's doing. Maybe they're trying to set something off to create to do something with the Nightmareverse or anything. But I also think it could have just been a throwaway line for Owen Wilson just to get us all having this exact thing happening.
Exactly, that's it. But you never know.
So, but I'm here for it. But I'm not going in the tall grass. Just like in Jurassic Park: Lost World, stay away from the tall grass. I'm not doing it.
So I'm gonna give my final thoughts on it, because I'm gonna throw everyone with this one, get everyone thinking tonight. So Loki's been a great this first episode has been pretty great from a written standpoint. Marvel's thrown out another hit. It's just, again, and it has a really different flavor to it that I think really fits the show. Again, how Les pointed out the Fallout feel, how everyone has pointed out a lot of different things. But I want to leave one thing here. So my final thoughts is pay attention to that elevator. That elevator has weird numbers, and it's revealed in the credits when the elevator goes to 1EJ. It says immediate access denied. Is that the Nightmare Department? Is that some other department? What is that? What is 1EJ? Please let me know, someone out there. But this has been another great episode of Nerds Around. I want to thank you guys for coming on, having fun with us, talking Loki. It's been a minute. Again, check out these awesome creators. Check out Kris, Diane's, and Leslie's links in the description. They're creating awesome content. You can catch Leslie on Bit and Apple. You can find Chris's awesome work at Comic Book School and on his website as well, which is in the links below. Chris is an awesome writer. Again, Teddy's was awesome. Definitely got to check it out. Check out Diane's artwork. Her website's in the links, and her links are in the description and below. So make sure you follow them, like them, support them, follow them. Give them the love that we love, the nerdy love that we want to give them all. Again, this has been your host, Sebastian.
It's Boyla.
Anybody, Tone from across the hall.
We love you, Jarrell. Don't worry. Next time I'll throw you out the window. I got you.
We got you in the episodes, man. We got you.
We got you. You're on the season finale. Come on. We got you. Later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.